they're gonna blacken the fish, we want to make sure that our heat is like super, super high. So the minute we put this fish with all the seasoning down on it, it immediately sort of scorches the seasoning, which turns the black color in the first place. So we'll blacken on both sides, and then turn the heat down just so that we can get it to cook all the way. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the bacon on. That's the really cool thing about bacon too, is that when you're cooking it, it shrinks so much it don't even matter. You could just throw that in there like 5 million ways. Yeah, cut off that end, and then just about a third of it, because you don't need a lot of it at all. And then go ahead and just slice those the other way. Yeah, so we can get little small dice, exactly. That way it's not overpowering. The reason why we're using olive oil for this is because we're doing a light saute. So if we're sauteing, you want to use olive oil because it's not as fattening. Olive oil does not fry very well, so it'll burn before it actually reaches the temperature that it needs to cook the food, so the oil will burn itself. So but if we're doing a saute, it's real easy. So just a little bit in there. You have a spatula? Let's use that spatula on there. The corn doesn't take as long to cook. It's frozen. It's already been cooked, so it's pretty soft. The onions take a little bit longer, and we don't want that tart onion flavor, so we want to cook them a little much so that it's soften, and also the sugars can begin to release, not making it so oniony. So it's a little bit of corn. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. But if we put the corn in too early, then it makes the corn mushy. Now we're going to go ahead and turn down the heat on this. So we have it at a medium now. Put it nice low. And we'll add in like just a third more of the corn, third of the bag of the corn. So the pimientos, they're too already cooked. So we're really, essentially this point, just heating it through. And then also at this point too, you can add in your seasoning. But a very, very easy corn relish, nothing hard. And remember too, like I told you before, if you wanted to, you could use like fresh red bell pepper. But pimientos are the same thing. They're just roasted and cut. And the only reason we're seasoning at the end versus not at the beginning is because we're just making such a teeny bit that we don't want to over season. So if we had seasoned layer by layer, like if we were making like a whole pot for people, that would be different. But we're just making enough for the salad. And so now at this point, it's pretty much just cooked through. You just let it sit and turn that heat all the way down. You just let it heat warm until we're ready to use it. You don't have to measure it like that. You can just pour it. Oh, I got you. Just so you don't do too much?
Right, yeah.
Well, that is a good technique then, if you know you have heavy hands.
Yeah. All right, oops.
And go ahead and get the other side too. Rub it down. Yes. All right, now rub that. There you go. So now you have some of that extra season on there. Perfect. Looks pretty. I think we need more bacon now. So we're just gonna put in there and let it sit for like a minute or so. Get that side black. If you see that on the sides it's starting to get white, then you know it's cooking. It reminds me a lot like when you're making pancakes, like once the eggs start to burn, you get those bubbles. So it's the same thing kind of with the tilapia with the fish. And it doesn't take long. But you can see, go ahead and flip it over. You can see that side is done. Look how pretty that is. There you go, honey.
All right.
And we'll just let that sit until it's cooked. Very easy. We're just going to take apart the leaves, wash them. And even if you bought bags, you want to wash it anyways. For our salad, the way we're going to cut it, because the Cobb salad, it's about presentation. You know what I mean? Like, it's not one of those salads where you just throw stuff in there and it doesn't matter. So, like I said, it doesn't have a lot of this middle part. So I just take my finger, but you could also take your knife. I know you're comfortable with a smaller knife. And just kind of cut it out. So then, you're going to take your knife. And we're just going to dice the tomato as well. And be careful too when you're cutting, especially because the tomatoes are so slimy and you don't have a place to really drain it, that you don't get, that your knife doesn't slip on account of all that slime. We're going to roll this up so that our cuts are a little finer. And basically just hold it and slice. Now just go and do a rough cut this way. So you actually get little pieces that are palatable, and you're not going to have to be like trying to wrap this around your fork and all that stuff. So now just go through that way. So we're going to start with 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar.
3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. And then we're going to take 1 tablespoon of fresh lime juice. That's perfect. All right. So now we're going to take 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. All right. So we're going to take our chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. That'll give us about a teaspoon there. And we have some of that sauce in there. So you just want to cut that into little small pieces. Real small. Alright, we're going to do we would use 1 small garlic clove. This is kind of big, so let's just use half of it. And we'll cut that in little small pieces as well. Yeah, the finer the better. How does that feel?
Fine.
Okay. How's that in? So let's add a teaspoon of sugar. And the sugar, since we have so much acid and heat in here in our salad dressing, it's going to help us cut down on that. So we'll go ahead and whisk this. We're not going to add the salt and pepper yet because the salt and pepper is the taste. So after the whole thing is done, then we'll add the salt and pepper. All right, so I'm going to pour out half a cup of olive oil in here for you. When we're adding the olive oil to our vinaigrette base, you don't want to dump it in there. You want to pour it to a consistent stream as you whisk. We have our lettuce and everything ready. So now for the Cobb salad, we're just going to layer it. So we'll start with tomatoes, and then eggs, and then bacon, and then some feta cheese, our fish, and then our corn relish. And we'll drizzle the dressing over it.
Okay.
Cool. So, just like so. Perfect. And then we'll do the same with it. Yes, yes. Beautiful. Oh, it's so pretty. And now the feta cheese we can actually crumble it as we're putting it on, so it doesn't have to be so big and chunky. And just kind of, you know, break it up. And it doesn't have to be like little small pieces, just, yeah. For your spoon. I was looking for your spoon, that's so pretty.
The salad is actually really good. Shelly, first of all, helped me broaden my horizons. We made this dressing that when we were mixing, I was first like, I don't like that. But once we put it on, it's really tasty and it's different. And it was quick and easy. And I'm actually very proud of my experience. And thank you, Shelly, for getting me to open my mind a little bit and my taste buds and enjoy something very new and very refreshing and very healthy. See?